You filed for asylum, then you got married. Hi, I'm Jim Hacking, immigration lawyer practicing law throughout the United States out of our offices in St. Louis, San Diego, and Washington, D.C., plus our new office in Chicago, Illinois. In this video, we're going to talk about the situation where a foreign national comes to the United States. They fear persecution back home. They're worried that if they go back home, they're going to be tortured or killed, or something really bad is going to happen to them because of one of the 5 protected classes in asylum, which is their race, their religion, their national origin, their political opinion, or their membership in a particular social group. And after they file for asylum, they may have waited years and years for their asylum case to be decided, yes or no. And of course, when you apply for asylum, you usually do that with the asylum office. And when the asylum office calls you in for an interview and makes a decision, if the asylum case is the only thing that you have pending, then you're going to be sent to the deportation court where you can raise asylum as a defense to deportation. So because there are so many cases from 2014, 2015, 2016, almost 10 years ago, that have been pending at the asylum office for almost a decade, there is a big backlog of them. And when there's a big backlog, a lot of these people have been in the United States legally for the last 10 years, and they find themselves falling in love, and they marry perhaps a U.S. citizen, or they marry a green card holder. And that's what we're going to talk about in this video, is what happens when I have my asylum case pending and I marry a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, and I want to apply for a green card based on that marriage. Now, there's lots of factors to this, a lot of things that you need to consider, and that's why I wanted to make the video. So the first thing is, you have to ask yourself, where is my case pending? Am I still at the asylum office? That's a whole lot better than if your case is at the immigration court. Because if your case is at the immigration court, that means that technically you're in deportation. So if you get married while someone is in deportation, their marriage is held to a higher standard. You have to prove that your marriage is valid by clear and convincing evidence. So sort of a higher legal standard than if your marriage is made while your case is still pending at the asylum office. So if the asylum officer has not made a decision, or if you have not had your interview, that's better towards getting your marriage-based green card case through marriage, because you're going to operate at the usual standard of a preponderance of the evidence. Does the agency believe that your marriage is real? Because when the government sees that you're getting married while you're in removal, even if it's through asylum, then you're going to have to prove it, like I said, at that clear and convincing evidence. Now, if you marry a U.S. citizen and your asylum case is still pending, that's sort of the best scenario. Now, sometimes people have problems in their past, and sometimes those problems can only be cured by a grant of asylum. And so sometimes we would tell people to perhaps ride the asylum case and not necessarily file for adjustment. We might tell them to file the I-130 petition and see what happens, but sometimes it might be better for you, because of some things that might make you inadmissible, that at least gets you asylum in the United States. So there's always some calculations and analysis that have to go on. Is the best route asylum? Is the best route a marriage-based green card? So if you have that marriage-based green card case that you want to file and your spouse is still at the asylum office, if they've entered the United States with a valid inspection and they were therefore allowed into the United States, they didn't enter without inspection, then your spouse should be able to adjust in the United States. Now, USCIS, when you show up to your green card interview, they might ask you or tell you that you need to withdraw your asylum case so that they can finally decide your marriage case. Do not do this. Don't take them up on their invitation. There's no reason, no rule that says that they have to have you withdraw your asylum case before they adjudicate your green card case. So if you have an officer that's telling you, you have to withdraw this asylum case before I can issue a decision on your green card case, tell them, you absolutely have the right to go look at my asylum case, but you can't force me to withdraw it. And if they insist, ask them to see a supervisor or go see a lawyer about that, because that is improper. A USCIS officer should not try to get you to withdraw your asylum case. And you want to keep that on file just in case something happens. Now, after you get your green card, if you do receive a marriage-based green card, then you might want to withdraw your asylum case, might clean things up. Now, I don't want you to think that now that you've gotten your green card through marriage that you can then go back to your home country, because remember, you have sworn under oath that it is not safe for you to go back, that you're going to be persecuted if you go back. So suddenly marrying a U.S. citizen and getting a green card that way does not mean that it's then a good idea or safe for you to go back to your old country. So think that through. Now, let's talk about a situation where somebody's case is still at the asylum office and they marry a lawful permanent resident. Now, here's the big question. Did you file for asylum while you were still in status? Because there is a rule that if you apply for asylum while you're still in valid non-immigrant status, and USCIS takes forever to decide that case, and through no fault of your own, that case is delayed, and you marry a lawful permanent resident, then you can adjust even though you're technically out of status or you're well beyond the time that your visa expired, because you applied for asylum in a timely manner. You did so before you ran out of status, and therefore that asylum application should serve as a bridge between when you filed in valid non-immigrant status and when you applied for your lawful permanent resident status based on marriage to a green card holder. So these cases are really tricky. USCIS doesn't always think that that's approvable. Different offices handle those differently, but the rule is clear that if your asylum case is still at the asylum office, and if you filed it while you're in status, if you marry a lawful permanent resident, you can get your green card based on marriage to that lawful permanent resident. Now, like I said, you might have to fight them with that. You might have to appeal. It can be a bit of a struggle, but we've gotten that case approved several times in this office. We just had an interview on one the other day that I'm hopeful and confident that we're going to win on that. So that's the situation there. But if your case has been referred to the asylum court, in other words, if the asylum office did not grant you asylum and they sent your case to the deportation or removal court, the EOIR, then you're not going to be able to adjust through marriage to a green card holder. And so when you are in immigration court and you marry a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, you most likely will have to file the I-130 petition by itself, get that approved, and then go back to the court and either adjust status in court or try to get them to allow you to terminate proceedings so that you can adjust in USCIS. So these cases are tricky. They're complicated. There's a path to all those scenarios. So are you married to a U.S. citizen? Or are you married to a green card holder? Is your case at the asylum office? Is it at the asylum court, the deportation court? Were you in status when you filed, or were you out of status when you filed? These are all the main questions that we ask when we see situations where someone applied for asylum and they married a green card holder, or they applied for asylum and they married a lawful permanent resident. The big question is, where is your case pending? Who has jurisdiction over you and your file? That's what we're always thinking about. So if you're thinking about applying for asylum or a marriage-based green card, or both, or one or the other, feel free to give us a call if you want our help, 314-961-8200. Emailing is for people that want to actually hire us to be their firm, info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com. If you're just looking for free resources, we're happy to provide them. And I think we have more than anyone on the internet. We have our Immigrant Home Facebook group, which has over 15,000 members in there, people talking about the immigration process every day. We have TikTok @ImmigrationHacking. I'm on LinkedIn posting about the news of the day all the time. And then finally, we have our YouTube channel, which is where we started producing content years ago. We have hundreds and hundreds of videos on our YouTube channel, and we upload 2 or 3 new ones every week. And we'd love to have you follow us there and join us there. And that way you'll get an alert when we post a new video, or when I'm about to go live on the Immigration Answer Show. What's that Immigration Answer Show, you say? That's a show that we do 3 or 4 times a week. It's a live show, and that's just me answering immigrants' questions every day. And we'd love to have you join us there. Just text the word show to 314-470-3300, and you'll get an alert the next time we go live. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.